HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy, here to fill you in on what's happening in Hopkinton. Coming up on today's edition of HCAM News, we have the latest in Hiller sports, plus much more. But first, Hopkinton's military history was on display at the Hopkinton Historical Society. On display at the Hopkinton Historical Society during the weekend prior to Veterans Day was the military history of Hopkinton, including a tribute to the first ever graduate of West Point from Hopkinton, General Michael J. Lenahan. HCAM's Denise Untaki was on the scene to capture the well-attended display and get a glimpse of Hopkinton's military history.
Well, this started when the Lenahan descendants, Michael Green, in particular from Virginia, who is Michael J. Lenahan, great-grandson. His name is actually Michael John or Michael Joseph Lenahan Green. They kept the whole name throughout the family. He contacted the Historical Commission here in Hopkinton and wanted to know if they were interested in the materials from his great-grandfather's collection. General Lenahan was born at 28 Ash Street. He is the first person from Hopkinton to graduate from the military academy at West Point and served through the Plains Wars with Native Americans, the Philippine war in the Philippines, as well as World War II. He was a hero in World War II in France. And the Historical Commission, as you know, doesn't collect items, so they referred him to us. And through a series of negotiations, we got the collection of the general. And so we decided to highlight it by having this weekend, inviting the descendants of his family to come and see it. And then we have so much in our collection, and we recently acquired from Michael Whalen the collection of Hank Alessio of all the records of veterans that he had. So we're really lucky that we have all this material. So we decided to showcase it, and it was myself, Linda Connolly, Annie Marcy, John Palmer, and Denise Untaki, and Marilyn Mezet, and Aubrey Doyle. We all worked on the exhibit together.
Brenda Ziegler. I am his great-granddaughter, and I had met him a couple of times as I was a child because my grandparents lived a few towns away from my family, so we would go there for Sunday dinners. And if the general and his wife, it was his second wife, Mina Ward, they would visit occasionally, so I met him then. But as to the exhibit, I'm amazed at this booklet of all the things that, articles from the paper or letters that he got from different people congratulating him on promotions or things. I'm wondering how many people these days save these kinds of things and think of themselves like he already knew he was part of history. So, do you think of yourself as part of history?
100 years from now?
Yes.
So now, who put scrapbook?
I don't know. It might be in here at the museum. I
Okay.
can show you some pages. There's telegrams in here, letters, newspaper clippings. So you really see not just his life, but the times, what life was like for the ordinary person. So
Postcards.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that took a lot of work to do.
yeah.
Sir, can you tell me how you're related to General Lenahan?
I'll do my best. So I'm Charles Anderson, and I'm a great grandson. There might be another great in there.
Okay.
I'd have to, I'll defer to my aunt about that, but from Rhode Island, I was excited to hear they were doing this and coming out. So far, it's been really interesting, as having never met the general, to kind of understand the stories that I've heard that have been passed down about this larger-than-life character. So that's been great. And I did have a chance when I was a lot younger to read his autobiography, which is, I believe, right behind you, which I would love to get back into again and see how much of it I remember. But
So you remember as a child then at family gatherings, your relatives talking about
yeah,
General Lenahan?
right, and talking about West Point, the Indian Wars, but his autobiography is amazing, and I remember especially the things he was saying about the move going out to the Indian reservations, and that had a big effect. I kind of stumbled across the book and didn't realize what it was when I was reading it until I found out later it was the personal history of someone that we know, which really added a lot of weight to it for me.
So the thing that we have here is a scrapbook, which is quite wonderful, that actually one of the great-grandchildren made in honor of Michael Joseph Lenahan, and it's got so much personal stuff in it, memorabilia and letters and postcards and photos. It's fantastic. This is a citation from the French government. The general was awarded the Croix de Guerre after his the Battle of Argonne. I think I'm saying that correctly, in France. He was a hero in France as well as in America. And that's the citation from the French government. This is a photograph of an article in 1943, November 8th, 1943. The general came back to Hopkinton and helped dedicate the St. John's Honor Roll, which listed the men who fought in World War II from St. John's. We don't know what happened to this particular honor roll, but the statue of the Virgin Mary in the middle is now currently located on the front lawn of the rectory on Church Street. But that's St. John's, yes, yes.
So is General Lenahan in that photo?
Yes, he is. He's right here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not him. He's right here.
That one, okay.
Anyway, he came back frequently to Hopkinton. His sister was a school teacher here in town. She lived on Ash Street, I think well into the 50s. So he was back and forth a lot. There's a lot of newspaper notices and such of him visiting the town. The most impressive thing, I think, out of all these wonderful items is this silver loving cup, which was presented to the general by the grateful citizens of Hopkinton in May of 1919. And you'll see this, the silver, it's solid silver, it's about 2 feet tall, and it's engraved, and it says, "From the grateful citizens of Hopkinton." This is a photo of the general accepting this loving cup, and the event took place on the Hopkinton Town Common. So the photo and the cup were there, and we're thrilled to have it back in Hopkinton. It's just so wonderful. And this is the general's diploma from West Point. So we have a lot of, there's even more things over there, his medals, his ceremonial sword. It's quite wonderful.
And
Michael Lenahan didn't just know Thomas Edison. He was a lieutenant at Seton Hall University, and Edison's lab was in West Orange, which was right near Seton Hall University. So this young lieutenant went over and introduced himself to the very famous Thomas Edison. And they stayed family friends from the 1890s and into the 1930s. So Thomas Edison's grandson is named Michael. And if you read in the book, it'll tell you that the only phone call that Mrs. Edison thought Thomas ever made was to make sure that when Michael Lenahan came home from World War I.
Is there a certain part of the exhibit that has a personal meaning to you?
Well, I'm very interested in the Irish immigrants into Hopkinton. You know, a large number of Irish immigrants came during the Great Hunger in Ireland, during what we call the famine, escaping, hunger and poverty, and they came into Hopkinton and other parts of, the Northeast Massachusetts. At the exact same time, we were building all of the shoe and boot factories in the center of town, the big factories that needed several hundred hands to work in them. The farmers all up and down Hayden Row sewed shoes during the winter, and they had little shoe shops during the winter to make extra money.
When the fields were covered with snow.
Yes, absolutely. And then Lee Claflin came from Milford, and he built the first big factory in the center of town. And they needed hundreds and hundreds of workers, and it coincided with the arrival of the Irish immigrants. So I'm really interested in that part of Hopkinton's history, the workers and how they settled, and all up and down Grove Street, A, B, and C Street, and other side streets in the center of town. You see houses that look very similar. They were all built for the workers. That's who they were built for. I'm particularly interested in the Whalen family. Mike Whalen, who's our current veterans agent. Mike shared with me a history of his family along with all the other records. His grandfather, Thomas J. Whalen, served in the Spanish-American War in the 1890s, and we have a wonderful photo of him he was a landsman, so he was in the Navy during the Spanish-American War. And then also, Mike comes from a long line of people who served in the military, but he had an uncle, his Uncle Bill, who was killed in World War II in North Africa. And his body was buried there. And about 3 or 4 years after the war, his grandparents were given the opportunity to bring the body back to Hopkinton, and they did. And Annie Marcy, who is born and raised in Woodville, is a volunteer here, remembers standing, all of the school children in Hopkinton standing on either side of Main Street to honor the return of Bill Whalen's body, and it's buried in St. John's Cemetery now. They brought him home from North Africa. I like the personal stories. I like to, know how people were, how the town reacted, how the memories that people have of some of these things, and we're really lucky that we have such a terrific collection here at St.
So someone of the town or outside of town could come to the Historical Society and look and research more of the materials here.
Yes, they absolutely can. We're open every Monday 2 to 5, and we will meet you by appointment. If you want to get in touch with us and Monday doesn't work for you, we will certainly meet you by appointment. We want to share this collection with as many people as we can. And speaking of which, we're going to leave the exhibit up So people who didn't get a chance to come in this weekend can come on in and see it. We're going to leave it up at least through the winter. We don't have to move it until we have another public event in town.
HCAM is supported by our viewers. Thank you. And by the Hopkinton Independent newspaper and online news site. The newspaper reaches 100% of the homes and businesses in town, and the website is updated daily with exclusive Hopkinton content. Readers can receive a daily newsletter and breaking news alerts via email.
We have our groundbreaking for the new Charles Wood School, which we're very excited about. There's been a lot of work and effort been put into this process, so looking forward to celebrating it. We have our mound of dirt right here that we're looking to put our shovels in and hoping to get the building built, by January of 2028, if not sooner, so very excited.
On Tuesday, November 4th, a groundbreaking ceremony was hosted by Hopkinton Public Schools to mark the beginning of construction of the new Charles Wood Elementary School, which will replace the current Elmwood Elementary School. HCAM's Mike Terosian was on the scene.
Today we gather to celebrate the groundbreaking of our new Charles Wood Elementary School. The new school represents Hopkinton's next great step in shaping an educational campus for the future that will serve over 1,000 students in grades 2 through 4 in an environment that is cutting edge, personal, and inclusive. This project and all the efforts that have brought us to this point have always been grounded in 3 core values: community, innovation, and sustainability.
A wide array of state and town government officials were in attendance at the ceremony.
So we have some speakers from the MSBA. We have John Graziano, who is one of the building committee members. We have Senator Spilker that's going to be joining us. Representative Irina DeRosa will be joining us, as well as Select Board Chair Joe Clark and School Committee Rep Jamie Ronco.
So today is the groundbreaking for the new Charles Wood Elementary School, the project that is going to replace Elmwood School and house our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders starting in 2028. It's a big step, obviously, and we've been working on this project for 4 years, trying to find the right solution for the town, and it's really exciting at this point to see it start to actually physically get built.
Well, I'm delighted to be here in Hopkinton today. What a great milestone for the building of a new school. This town has made such great investments in its future. It's got some of the best schools, not only in the state, but in the country. So I wish them the best of luck. I know there's lots of challenges in the community as we look at the future, but this town continues to work together in a wonderful way.
I think today's really exciting for all the residents of Hopkinton. If you look back, the schools have always been the backbone of our community. They've driven the growth in town, continue to drive the growth in town. And personally for me as a parent of 2 young girls that should both go to this new school, I'm just very excited to see the continued progress here.
Really exciting day here in Hopkinton. Our students are going to get a wonderful new facility that meets all their needs and is going to provide state-of-the-art technology and facilities for their optimal learning.
The new Charles Wood Elementary School will bring more space capacity for the Hopkinton school system.
It'll be a little bit different, so the Marathon School will stay the same. Our Charles Wood will be 2 grades 2 through 4. Hopkins will then become a 5 and 6 grade school. The middle school will be 7 and 8, and the high school will remain 9 through 12.
The new school will also lead to more available space at Hopkinton Middle School.
Obviously our enrollment is continuing to be what it is, so we have to make sure that we have the proper class sizes, but it will give us a little bit of flexibility to do some different things. Maybe some classes from the high school can be taken over there, or we want to be mindful of how we use that space. But in a district that is struggling to have space, I think it's going to be a nice luxury for us to have.
Oh no, I was also on the elementary school building committee for the Marathon School. It's right behind us here. So this is a process that I'm pretty familiar with. And again, for me, it's exciting to have the connection of these 2 projects to really feel like we've, over the last 10 years, set up, especially the elementary levels of Hopkinton Public Schools to sustain for the next 30 or 40 years.
I was thinking coming here, when we were looking for houses in the early 90s, Hopkinton was at the top of the list. We had little kids, great schools. That was 30 years ago, and this town has just done an amazing job. It still has, I don't have to tell all of you this, that it still has among the top schools, not only in the state, but in the country.
I've said it multiple times. The schools have been the backbone of this town as long as I can remember. And the investment in a school project like this just shows the continued commitment to our education. I'm also here, as he said, a resident alumni of the school district. I think the education that I gained here in Hopkinton has carried me throughout the rest of my life and my professional career. And then just lastly, as a parent of 2 young girls that will both get to attend this new school, I couldn't be more excited for what all the parents have to look forward to for their future students here.
Obviously, replacing the schools that you have and building on the future, your school is well named. This is a marathon. You have to dig deep in order to keep the schools alive, fresh, healthy, functioning as they should be for your students. So congratulations for your community on supporting not just the marathon, but now this new school at Charleswood.
This project in replacing Elmwood feels a little bit of full circle for our family. We had, in addition to Erin teaching there, all 3 of our children got a wonderful education at Elmwood School and through all the schools in Hopkinton. And it's really important to our family that future generations have the same opportunity that our kids had to benefit from.
Welcome back to HCAM News. Hiller girls soccer and field hockey went far in the postseason, all the way to the round of 8. Here's the latest happenings. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Franklin High School for this round of 8 matchup. As the 14th seeded 15-3-2 Hopkinton Hillers take on 6th seeded 13-5-2 Franklin Panthers. Tom Nappy, happy to be on the call with you here from Franklin High School. Hillers in the white, Franklin in the blue. Good job getting the shot off by Izzy Dunn. And that is going to be a score. Off the corner, deflected in, Ayla Chase. Well, Hiller's looking for an attack here. Into the box, out in front, and that is in! A goal for the Hillers, and it's 2-0. That score comes at 16:28 left to go. And that is just a tremendous goal there by number 13, Emma Prisco. Have had all over the field in this first half. And there you go. There's your whistle to end the first half. And at the end of half number 1, it is the Hopkinton Hillers 2, the Franklin Panthers 0. Hillers with the advantage heading into the second half, but a long way to go. You can see Franklin being even more aggressive in this half, attacking the ball, looking for a breakaway here. Trying to work her way in. There's the shot, and that is in. And that is going to be a Franklin score. Lily Strong puts it in. Yeah, Lily Strong able to just slip through a couple of Hiller defenders, puts it towards the net, and it went under Ellen Nye as she kind of dove to try to stop the ball, and in it goes. Well, the Hillers looking for a breakaway. There's a shot, and how about that response? What a break upfield, and that is Izzy Dunn. Wow, what a response by the Hillers. Just under 27 minutes left here in the second half, a one-score game. A wild sequence of goals here to start this second half. There's a boot trying to get it through the wall. She can't. Good block by Franklin. Dunn sends it up. Riley O'Brien taking the corner. O'Brien into the box. Header towards the net, off the post. And a dive by Ella, still deflected, still in the danger zone. It's put in. Franklin ties the game. I believe that was Claire Michael with the score, number 10. On the near side. Sent back upfield. Looking for the shot here. Along the end line, it's put in. Well, Lily Strong got in there, snuck by the defender, and puts Franklin ahead at 12:56 left to go. Side. Throwing Hillers. Off the entry. Briscoe off the sideline. And sent back towards the Hiller end. And that's it. Franklin comes back from a 2-0 deficit with 4 second-half goals. And they will win the game by a final of 4-3. And the Hiller season will come to an end with a record of 15-4-2. Franklin moving on to the semifinals as they improved to 14-5-2 with the 4-3 win. It's time to tell you about some happenings in town you should know about. Coming up in Hopkinton Town government meetings on Wednesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. We'll have the Board of Appeals. Then on Thursday, November 20th, we'll have the school committee meeting. To view all upcoming town government meetings, head over to hcam.tv/gov, or for more information, you can head over to hopkintonma.gov. A special town meeting will commence on Thursday, December 4th at 7 p.m. at Hopkinton High School. If accommodations or modifications are needed, you can contact the town manager's office at 508-497-9701. Or find more information at hopkintonma.gov. A special town meeting to commence on Thursday, December 4th at 7 p.m. Stay tuned to hcam.tv for updates and more. Congratulations to the Hillers on a terrific fall season. It was a lot of fun following the great playoff runs. That is going to do it for today's edition of HCAM News. But don't worry, next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., we'll be back. For everyone at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. As always, we thank you for tuning in. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.